Thanks for joining us. This is Elon Local News, Elon's news leader.
Coming up on our show, hashtag Elon Home. The alumni were back this weekend, and we'll have everything you need to know about homecoming, from increased security to Elon's online presence.
We'll take a look at the potential changes Elon Community Church is making now that same-sex marriage is legal in North Carolina.
And get on the bus. With our homecoming coverage, we'll take a drive around campus with one of Elon's most knowledgeable tour guides.
We'll have all that and more.
Elon Local News starts right now.
Welcome to Elon Local News. First of all, we're going to apologize for some technical difficulties. We're just going to roll with the punches today and see what happens. But from Rhodes Stadium to right here in McEwen, homecoming celebrations for the theme of the weekend. One of the biggest Elon events was Ludacris Saturday night in the Colonnades parking lot.
The concert wasn't like anything we've ever seen, and while we were watching Ludacris, more police were watching us, amongst all heightened security. Our
Katie Kaler is here with details on concert security and cost. Hey, Katie.
Thanks, guys. The Ludacris concert brought roughly 5,600 people to the Colonnades parking lot, according to Sub and SGA. To put that number into perspective, there's also 5,600 undergrads enrolled at Elon. So think of how many people were in that parking lot. According to Elon University Police Chief Dennis Franks, more than 20 police officers from 4 different departments were also in attendance at the Ludacris concert. The higher security was noticeable from the start. New to homecoming this year, a fence surrounding the whole venue. Once students were let in, they were not allowed to re-enter. On the way into the concert, you had to open all bags and empty your pockets, but that wasn't all. Security officers wanted concert goers on their way in. Once you were in the concert, uniformed police officers were stationed around the perimeter, with some officers even on the balcony of Colonnades E. According to a Mebane police officer I talked to Saturday night, plainclothes officers were also in the crowd. Chief Franks told me the extra security was just a precaution based on the high number police were expecting at the concert. After the concert, I talked to Franks, and he said overall, the concert went smoothly. A couple of bumps, though. Franks confirmed 2 attendees were taken away by Alamance County EMS, and 4 concert goers were asked to leave. As for how much this concert cost, I talked to SGA and the Student Union Board, who said the entire homecoming concert budget was $110,000, and $75,000 of that went to paying Ludacris. His concert lasted 1 hour, meaning the rapper was paid more than $1,000 per minute. Justin and Meredith, back to you.
Thanks, Katie. Same-sex marriage in North Carolina has been legal for just more than a week. Just across the street, Elon Community Church was planning to vote in January on Affirmation, or the full inclusion of the LGBTQIA community in the church. But after same-sex marriage was legalized, that process may be speeding up. Our Preston Willett tells us why.
Elon Community Church worships and praises on Sundays, and now some members are praising the fact that same-sex marriage is legal in North Carolina.
I am a lesbian. I've lived in this state for 18 years. Honest to goodness, I thought North Carolina would be number 48, 49, or 50.
I'm thrilled with it. I am happy to know that we are raising our children in a time where love equals love.
While some members share the same opinions of who should stand here at the altar and be married, Elon Community Church's focus remains on the affirmation process.
Our church here has been basically very accepting of people of all orientations and races and positions. Our pastor often likes to say that no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you're welcome here.
Ray Pollard and his wife Gail were asked to join the church's affirmation committee. Their son is gay, and the church thought the Pollards might be able to help create a healthy dialogue on the subject.
One of the things we've been interested in doing is to get a consensus in the church rather than instigate a heated debate.
Pollard says the topic of same-sex marriage has not yet come up in church after the North Carolina ban was struck down, but with feelings of the church right now, he believes the affirmation process might be complete before January. Pollard says he'd vote yes to the affirmation decision.
I think I would probably favor it because I think most people have expressed themselves, a pretty strong majority, that they're ready to take a stand.
Preston Willett, Elon Local News.
The church's Affirmation Committee meets this week, and according to Gail Pollard, the process could be done as early as Thanksgiving, meaning the church will openly include all members of the LGBTQ community.
As for North Carolina as a whole, Freedom to Marry's latest poll says that 62% of North Carolina support same-sex marriage, while 33% are opposed. And now turning to what the Center for Disease Control is calling the largest Ebola virus outbreak in history, affecting 7 countries this year.
With a story of this scope, there are a lot of rumors and misinformation being thrown around. Here with what you need to know is our Carissa Parent.
Thanks, Justin and Meredith. New today, those who were in contact with the Ebola patient in Texas, the patient who later died, are no longer being monitored for Ebola symptoms. Now, here's what you need to know as an ELN student. I spoke with Medical Director of Student Health, Dr. Jeanette Archinal, about the plan the health center has in the off chance Ebola comes to ELN. Those visiting the center who have traveled overseas within the past 4 weeks are advised to tell the front desk upon entry. If you have traveled abroad and are showing possible signs of Ebola, like fever, trouble breathing, or vomiting, you will skip the waiting room and see a physician immediately. If found to be symptomatic, the patient is transferred to Alamance Regional Medical Center for care until they can be stabilized and transported to the Cone Health Center in Greensboro. Just because ELN has a plan in action, Dr. Archinal wants students to put the Ebola crisis into perspective. She says this disease is not taking over the world.
Hundreds of people die every year in North Carolina from the flu. We have a vaccine for the flu. The flu is far more contagious than Ebola.
The plan is just a precautionary measure. Remember, despite all the rumors the virus is not airborne, the only way you can contract Ebola is by coming into contact with the bodily fluids of a symptomatic person. Justin and Meredith, back to you.
Great. Thank you, Carissa. Like Dr. Archinal said, it's flu season. If you're like me and did not get a flu shot from the university, don't worry. Many Burlington locations are still offering them. Walgreens on Church Street has flu shots at their Walgreens pharmacy. You can stop in or make an appointment online. CVS and urgent care health clinics also have flu shots, and you might not even have to pay for them, as most insurance companies cover flu shots as a preventative service.
Whether it be through film, a mural, or paper and pencil, the National Day on Writing today had a way for everyone to celebrate. On the Writing Center's Facebook page was a Design Meme contest where students were invited to create an image related to writing. Prizes valued more than $100 were given out to the winner. At the lakeside patio, participants took to the bricks with sidewalk chalk, drawing pictures of what they want the ELN community to know about their hometown. Over in Belk Library, students were encouraged to write on the community advice board. Wrapping things up in Mosley Center was the I Heart My ELN Community graffiti wall.
We are just about 2 weeks away from midterm elections. ELN will be live November 4th at 8 p.m. with what you need to know about the North Carolina races. We're teaming up with our friends at the Pendulum for our coverage. We want to hear from you. Check out our Facebook page for a survey on what this election means to college students. And here in studio with us right now is our Perry Eliadarani with an app that will help you decide who to vote for this election day. Perry?
Thanks, Justin. With the November election getting even closer, now is the time to really get to know your candidates and the issues so you can cast your vote. To help with the process, I found an app, iCitizen, that makes all of this information easy to find. The app opens up on the home screen, which has a featured vote, something current in the news. It also has a brief summary of today's politically relevant news and longer articles on bigger issues. If we go further into the app, we can find information on issues that we care about. I can follow the issue to receive updates, see a timeline for related legislation, read articles, and can also vote on current issues. Even if you don't express your opinion, you can still see which side of the issue has a majority and even see a breakdown of how states voted. You can also have the app use your location to find your representatives at the state and federal level. You can select their name, rate them, even find ways to contact them. iCitizen is free on the Apple App Store. With this week's ELN Election Breakdown, I'm Perry Eliadarani. Back to you, Meredith and Justin.
Thanks, Perry. Coming up later in the show, everyone to see Dr. Danley play tour guide. Well, he did this weekend, and we have the story.
And before we go to break, with all the Elon alumni on campus this weekend, we thought we'd chat with some of them to see what changed the most since they graduated. Let's check it out.
When you dig deeper into it, it's more diversity, it's more broadening the horizons, expanding globally, internationally, and also bringing a different type of Elon class into the Elon area.
The kind of progress with not just the buildings and the architecture they've done, but I think the culture of Elon University, it really feels like even more of a community than it did when I went here.
Create these amazing global citizens, and the construction, I didn't even know how to make it from my car, and that is just, it blows my mind.
Homecoming this weekend, it was hard to miss the action online. Ashley McGettrick has a breakdown of what you all had to say about this weekend's celebrations. Hey, Ashley.
Thanks, Meredith. Home is where the hashtags are. Elon's official homecoming hashtag, ElonHome, saw 937 posts on Twitter and Instagram this weekend. Pretty impressive considering that the university estimated over 1,000 people attended the festivities. Elon's first homecoming was in 1893, and it wasn't as popular considering the school only had 3 alums at that point. Today, Elon has thousands of alumni. That first homecoming also did not see any hashtagging. That's because, fun fact, the pound sign wasn't even invented until the 1960s. That's when the touch-tone phones came out and Dr. Danley was still the school's president. Imagine tweeting on a rotary phone. Not so cool. Flash forward to the end of this weekend, and the hashtag ElonHome was seen by more than 1.5 million people, according to the analytics website TwitterBinder. The most popular posters were the university's official account, the alumni office's account, and the bronze medal tweeter of the weekend was head Phoenix himself, President Leo Lambert. One major tweeter missing from the bunch, Luda. After his concert, Ludacris posted an Instagram video of himself on stage in the Colonnades parking lot, but the signature hashtag ElonHome was missing from the post. That wraps up your homecoming hashtag hash out. Back to you guys.
If you missed homecoming this weekend, we have some great pictures up on our Facebook page. Let's take a look at some of our favorites.
And this homecoming marks some milestone reunions for different campus organizations. Our own Elon Student Television celebrated its 20th year of operation after being created by a group of students who want to take their education to the next level. Current Assistant Vice President for Technology Christopher Waters was one of those founding students.
So, you know, in the original days of Elon Student Television, there were many students that were interested in the field. We were taking the courses that students take today, but didn't really have a way to put our learning into practice. So Elon Student Television, or at the time it was Elon College Television, ECTV, was created to give students that opportunity to practice.
Elon Student Television has come a long way since its creation, moving from facilities all over campus to its current home in McEwen. Waters said he's happy to see how ESTV has grown and hopes the organization will continue to expand.
And ESTV will have a new home soon. Over homecoming, Elon revealed its fly-through tour, which you're gonna watch just in a little bit, of the new School of Communications. The school has officially started raising money for the new addition. $8 million has already been raised so far, but Elon is campaigning for $15 million in order to break ground by early 2016. The new addition will feature improved studios, a movie theater, and more space for classes and clubs.
The School of Communications isn't the only change on campus, especially for alumni. Our Kaylee Tracy takes us on the campus bus ride tour with Dr. Danley, hosted for the alumni.
Everybody hear me in the back?
Dr. Danley played tour guide Friday, taking alumni on a bio bus tour of campus.
We got here 45 minutes early. We wanted to make sure
we're on the right bus.
Dr. Danley is an institution within itself, and everybody knows it.
In the 70-plus years Dr. Danley has been here, he and the university have grown together.
It's just remarkable, and the quality of life that's on the campus now versus what it was back then is just 100 times different.
Dr. Dannelly explained these transformations from new technologies on campus.
I told my chemistry classes for 60 years that we will not have geothermal heat because it's not practical here. I've had to eat my words.
To the Dannelly Center.
Fred Young called and asked me could he name this Dannelly Center, and I told him on one condition. He said, "What is that?" I said that you name it in honor of me and not in memory.
To the alumni, it seemed like some of the new buildings, like the station at Mill Point, just came out of nowhere.
All these other buildings I don't even know, just like popped up.
And without Dr. Dannelly's tour, Kopik says he wouldn't even have recognized part of his old school.
If I didn't go on the bus tour, I wouldn't have found half of the campus.
Despite the physical changes, some parts of Elon, like Dr. Dannelly, have stayed the same.
It's all kept together. The character of the whole place is still the same.
Kaylee Tracy, Elon Local News.
And let's check in with some more alumni to see what they had to say about seeing the new global neighborhood for the first time. ELN will be right back.
These buildings are beautiful, great community for freshmen to live in.
When I was a freshman, this was dorms that were much smaller and much less impressive.
I lived in Staley, which has since been torn down to make way for all of these really new, really great dorms, which I haven't even had the opportunity to see one yet. So I'm hoping maybe I could go knock on somebody's door and see if they'll let me in, and just get a look-see as far as how they are now versus when I was here.
The theater department kicked off homecoming weekend with something that everybody loves, laughter. Elon's improv troupe Instant Laughter performed Friday and Saturday night in Yeager Hall. Guided by audience suggestions, the actors had to do what was shouted out. This included things like crawling on the floor, rapping, and even making fun of themselves. Even though it's difficult to act on the spot, junior Rebecca Hurd says improv is something she loves to do.
It's just really freeing because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's that gives me a lot of anxiety on one hand because you don't know what's going to happen. But the other side of it is you don't have any lines to remember. You don't have any really expectations to fulfill. You just go out there and pretty much do whatever you want to do.
The theater students were the only ones busy showing off their performing talents over homecoming. The dance department held their work-in-progress choreography salon Thursday and Friday. And the most impressive part, the student performers were also the choreographers. Although the performances were this week, the work isn't done yet. Salon was used as a workshop to get the audience's feedback on pieces to see how they could be improved. The final pieces will come to the stage December 1st and 2nd.
Now that homecoming has come and gone, it officially feels like fall outside. And during the season, I often find myself looking up at the beauty of the leaves changing color around Elon. But what happens to those leaves on campus when they fall? I found out that just because a leaf falls from the tree doesn't mean its life at Elon is over. One of the most iconic signs of fall's arrival is Elon's leaves changing color.
We've really expanded the tree collection over the years because we are a botanical garden, and so we get some really unique trees with some interesting color and foliage in the fall.
With thousands of leaves falling on campus each year, I asked students to see where they thought the leaves go after they hit the grounds.
I don't know, I guess they take them to some place, drop them off, I don't know. I never think about it.
Thinking it's Elon, they probably do something special with it, I don't know, reuse them for something, I have no idea.
Whether you've thought about it or not, the leaf removal at Elon is down to a science thanks to Tom Flood and his crew of 15 physical plant workers.
The process of leaf removal is very similar to mowing. The only thing we add in the fall for leaf removal is the great big leaf vac to try to get some volume out of the way. I've heard the students call that the big leaf Zamboni machine.
By the end of season, they collect a whole lot more than just a jumping pile's worth of leaves.
It's probably about 400 cubic yards of leaves a year.
Once the leaves are collected from campus, they're brought here to the Environmental Center, where they're transformed into a different kind of landscaping.
Right, all the yard waste on campus, leaves, any grass clippings we might collect, brush, limbs, shrubbery from pruning, dead flowers, all goes over to our compost facility.
Flood says it takes about 6 to 8 months for the materials to decompose. From there, he says, the leaves return to their roots.
Ultimately, all that material goes into the compost, which comes back to campus and enhances the landscape and our environment here on campus.
And when fall comes Halloween, with the holiday just around the corner, it was opening weekend for the Hallfields Haunted Forest, which scares and shares. All the proceeds from the tickets go directly to youth sports programs, making this Medman attraction the only nonprofit of its kind in all of Alamance County. We'll have more on this attraction tomorrow at 9:50 a.m. on ELN Morning. And when we come back, I'll start us off in this week in sports with a look at one Elon athlete overcoming 2 seasons worth of injuries.
And one last time as we go to break, let's check in with our alums, including one of our own ELN grads, about some of the unexpected changes they saw during homecoming.
We sat out here last night over the lake looking over, and Elon just looks phenomenal. It's really changed over the last 5 years. So Kevin and me, freshman year, I was in Moffett, which is right here, and then we were in Maynard, and we are in absolute shock. This is unbelievable.
There's also this thing called a great hall, and we've had good halls before. There's plenty of nice halls, but this great hall is unreal. It's just so different to me.
Cadoba. Cadoba's that big change. Cadoba's the big change. I haven't even been.
Injuries are a natural part of playing sports, but sometimes they can be so severe that they can put an end to an athletic career. I found one Elon cross-country runner who was on the verge of hanging up her cleats forever.
There's nothing Emily Dunne loves more than running, but injuries to her shins and femur kept this athlete from competing for nearly 2 years.
My body just was not having it. I got hurt again, and just seemed like every time I tried to get back and progress, it was another setback, and just a continuous cycle.
While the physical pain was hard to bear, the emotional pain was even worse.
It's very frustrating. I mean, for any athlete to get injured, it's just so frustrating, but I feel like just injury after injury and just still not being able to run with the team and compete at a higher level, it was just so frustrating.
While her teammates continued to compete and improve their times, Dunne stood on the sidelines and watched. After months of cross-training and the injury still lingering, Dunne visited an orthopedic who told her to give up on running.
I was like, no way, there's no way I'm gonna do that.
Dunne ignored the doctor's advice and continued to train, something her fellow teammates and coaches admire her for.
I'm so proud of how far Emily has come since freshman year. It's a testament to her perseverance and just her character as a person. I'm not sure that there's any other girl on the team that would have stuck with it as long.
Now a junior, Dunne has a clean bill of health, but she urges other athletes to take that extra time to take care of their bodies and avoid injuries like hers.
Spending that time to, roll out for extra 10 minutes, or, if you have a specific spot that's bothering you, not to just let it go, and communicate between coach and trainers. It's really important.
Dunne has competed in every fall invitational this season. This past weekend at the pre-national, she finished 145th out of 300 runners in the 6K with a time of 22 minutes and 21 seconds. And now we're going to go to Andrew Feather over there with the rest of sports and what you need to know in This Week at Elon Athletics.
Thanks, Justin. Just a few hours ago, Elon Athletics announced that Tasha Taylor joined the women's basketball team as an assistant coach. Taylor played her college career at Clemson and spent the last 2 seasons as an assistant at Limestone College in Gaffney, South Carolina. Now on to the homecoming football game. The offensive inconsistencies that have haunted the Elon football team all year were back Saturday afternoon as the Phoenix took on Stony Brook. In front of a packed house at Rhodes Stadium, Elon alum here for homecoming didn't get to see a strong performance from their Phoenix. After managing a field goal on its first possession, Elon's offense went ice cold, failing to score for the rest of the game, managing only 29 rushing yards, and turning the ball over 4 times against the #1 defense in the FCS. The bulk of Elon's problems came from its inability to convert in the red zone. The Phoenix made it within the Seawolves' 20-yard line 3 times, but couldn't manage a single point from the chances.
The numbers that team was putting up on defense, I mean, they're stupid. Our room for error isn't very big, and we had too many miscues.
While the Elon offense struggled, Elon's defense did show some promise. Even though Stony Brook scored 3 touchdowns, the Phoenix held the Seawolves to 262 yards of total offense and a mere 81 yards through the air. That wasn't enough, though, as Stony Brook left 20-3 winners. Elon is back in action on Saturday when CAA foe Richmond comes to Rhodes for a game at 3 p.m. Saturday's game is Elon's Think Pink game. Players and coaches will wear pink for breast cancer. Saturday's loss dropped the Phoenix to 0-3 in Colonial Athletic Association play, but football is not the only Elon team struggling in the new conference. Phoenix teams are a combined 4-18-1 in just over a month's worth of CAA competition. Like football, the volleyball team is winless in the new league with an 0-8 record, and the women's soccer team has not done much better. They are 1-6 in the conference. The only Elon team not struggling since the move is the men's soccer team, which beat number 21 UNC Wilmington last week and is currently first in the CAA with a 3-1-1 record. The men's soccer team looks to continue its impressive season tomorrow at Rudd Field, where it hosts Atlantic Coast Conference power Duke at 7 p.m. As part of the homecoming festivities, the men's basketball team held its annual alumni game. The game featured returning Elon basketball players several decades, including Elon assistant coaches Chris Long and Monty Sanders. The contest gave the former Phoenix a chance to show the skills or lack thereof that they still had on the court. And while some alumni seemed to forget the rules of the game, Elon head coach Matt Matheny said his team learned a lot and benefited from the experience. Well, that's all that we have today for sports. Now back to Justin and Meredith.
Thank you very much, Andrew. For the latest news, check out our Facebook page, elonlocalnews.com on Facebook.
And follow us on Twitter. Thank you so much and have a great week, Elon.